Okay, Shannon, here's a quick recap of your lesson from today. The video on the left, I'm going to go ahead and play through for you. This is before we did any instruction whatsoever. Pretty good turn away from the ball, not a lot of swing, but we're throwing away our wrist angles pretty bad right there. Picture on the right, made a few modifications to your setup. Number one, we got your feet flared out. Just a little bit more sort of in this direction here. We got your weight a little more forward by sliding your hip toward the target, and we've also set up with a little bit more forward leaning shaft. Those are all things that are going to kind of be staples in your setup position going forward. This was the flying wedge drill, and this was the drill I put you in to try to get you to feel keeping your core turning and keeping the handle leading the club head. And you did a really nice job with this drill. Notice your impact position, much more forward-leaning shaft in this video versus the previous. On the left, you can see there's no forward-leaning shaft. On the right, you can see your hands are leading the club head, and we're in a much better position to hit the golf ball with compression there. So, nice job with those changes. But biggest frame is sort of here after post-impact. Notice how in the flying wedge drill, how you keep your arms just so very straight and maintain that radius. You got so much more extension and power in the golf swing, all the way sort of to your finish in a really solid position right there versus here on the left. So just to sort of recap today's lesson, what we were really working on was, in the beginning there, just your setup, getting 55% of your weight over here on your front, your lead leg, and sort of this direction. And when you make your backswing, we talked about how the right knee needs to straighten, your left knee flexes, and you feel as though you're keeping your weight centered. You're making a very centered pivot, and you're creating, a stable axis here on the left side of your body. And you're really going to be pivoting around that. That's going to give you maximum control over your low point. But the biggest thing it's going to do is it's going to eliminate those thin shots, those fat shots, and your ball strike is going to improve tremendously. Okay, Shannon, the last thing I kind of wanted to address with you is the early extension piece that we talked about. And you were telling me that a pretty common shot for you is to shank the ball or hit it right in on the neck. And it's pretty easy to see the reason for that. And on the picture on the left here, down the line, I've drawn a sort of a line there on your butt and a line on your forehead there. And we're just going to kind of reference those lines so you can see how your spine changes extension here. You're okay to the top of the backswing, just a little bit of you stand up a little bit out of your posture. Your head goes up just a little, but not too bad overall. It's when you start the downswing, how your hips will thrust in toward the ball in this direction, and your head kind of moves back in this direction. Well, the head moving back is a byproduct of the hips moving closer to the ball. This inward thrust here is the reason why you're shanking the ball. Look at how far your tush line has come off of the so-called wall there. Whereas if you take a look at Robert Rock here on the right, notice that he's in the same condition with the same lines drawn. He gets to the top and he starts down. His head's primarily in the same spot and he's maintaining his tush line. You can just see his hips are pushing forward toward the target, and then they're turning, they're opening. There's impact. Not a lot of change in his spine angle. His spine angle has remained, relatively, the same as it was at address, whereas your spine angle is now very, very erect. Okay, so that change in posture is where these shanks are coming from. So one of the things that you can do is that you can get at home and you can make practice swings in your living room or bedroom or whatever, but just kind of position a chair on the ground, just kind of right behind you here, and butt your, you can put your butt up against the chair so that you can feel it, and then just go ahead and make practice back and through swings, feeling as though your butt stays back up against that chair, or even somewhat up against the wall. And what you're basically going to be doing is that you're going to be maintaining this spine angle that you've created, at address. Basically right here. We want our shoulders to sort of rotate around that spine angle and not change that spine angle. One of the feelings that you're going to have to feel is though in the takeaway, when you put the club into motion, that this left shoulder is working more down instead of around. Again, left shoulder working more down instead of around. And as you start down, that spine angle shouldn't change. See, right here is where it starts to change. Tush line goes forward, head pops back, and now we're in a very vertical position. That's where those shanks are coming from, unquestionably. Anyways, I hope this helped you. Give me a call if you have any